Welcome to FirstoGraphy. Today, we take security for granted. We have passwords, face IDs, and encrypted clouds. We believe that if a genius scientist tells us a system is unhackable, it must be true. But history tells a different story. In 1903, the world's most famous inventor, Guglielmo Marconi, the man who basically invented radio, was about to prove his wireless system was perfectly private. He claimed no one could intercept his messages. He called it syntonic telegraphy. But as the machine began to tick, it didn't deliver Marconi's message. Instead, it began to tap out a rhythmic, mocking poem. It called Marconi a fraud. It insulted his audience. In that moment, the wizard of wireless was exposed. This wasn't a glitch. This was a heist. A heist of the airwaves. This was the birth of hacking. To understand the hack, we have to look at the man behind the key. Nevil Maskelyne wasn't a computer scientist because computers didn't exist yet. He was a professional magician and an illusionist. The Maskelyne family was famous for the Egyptian Hall in London, where they performed incredible stage illusions. But Nevil had a secret passion. He was obsessed with electricity. He was an early maker, a tinkerer who saw through the smoke and mirrors of Victorian technology. Maskelyne's motive wasn't money. It was something deeper. Marconi had been filing massive, sweeping patents that stopped anyone else from experimenting with radio. To Maskelyne, Marconi was a corporate bully who was lying about how secure his technology was. If I can hear it, Maskelyne thought, then it isn't private. Here on FirstoGraphy, we look at the mechanics of the first man-in-the-middle attack. Marconi believed that by tuning his transmitter and receiver to the same frequency, they would be invisible to everyone else. It was like two people talking in a crowded room, thinking that because they were whispering, no one else could hear. Maskelyne proved this was an illusion. He built a 50-foot mast behind his house. He spent months sniffing the airwaves, picking up Marconi's test signals. He realized that Marconi's security was just a lack of interference. On the day of the big demonstration, Maskelyne set up his own powerful transmitter in a nearby theater. While Marconi's team was trying to send a message from hundreds of miles away, Maskelyne blasted a much stronger signal from just a few blocks away. The receiver at the Royal Institution didn't know the difference. It simply obeyed the strongest signal. Maskelyne had overridden the system. He had hacked the air. Marconi's team was horrified. They called it scientific hooliganism. They argued that Maskelyne was a vandal. But Maskelyne was proud. He wrote a public letter to the Times admitting everything. He argued that if he, a simple magician, could disrupt the signal, then a foreign government or a criminal could do it too. He forced the world to realize that security through obscurity is not security. This is the fundamental law of hacking that still governs our world today. Whether it's a Victorian telegraph or a modern iPhone, if there is a way in, someone will find it. Maskelyne was the first, but he wasn't the last. His spirit of testing the system moved into the halls of MIT in the 1950s. There, students who worked on model trains used the word hack to describe a clever technical solution to a problem. When the first mainframe computers arrived, these hackers applied that same curiosity. They weren't trying to break things. They were trying to understand how they worked. They wanted to push the machine to its limits. Every time you see a white-hat hacker today finding a bug in a system before a criminal does, they are walking in the footsteps of Nevil Maskelyne. They are the truth tellers of the digital age. Hacking didn't start with a computer. It started with a magician, a radio, and a poem. It started with the desire to prove that the perfect system is a myth. Thanks for watching this episode of FirstoGraphy. If you want to see the full 10-part series on the history of hacking from the 1903 wireless heist to the creation of the internet, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories behind the firsts of history. Because to understand the future, you have to understand the first.